Okay, so we've covered all the anatomy for the brain that's important for us to begin to understand the higher functions that we associate with its activity. And so these are the integrative functions of the brain and imply anything that requires an executive type of output. And so we're talking about sleep functions, memory, cognition, which is, of course, thinking, emotional output, sensing, motor, control, and then a very important aspect of human life, generating language. So we're going to see it's going to involve interactions among all the structures that we've been discussing. You can't necessarily relate functions to specific nuclei. It's never quite that easy. There's always an interaction among different regions of the brain that will relate to specific functions. So I never want you to get the idea or feel that I imply the notion that there are specific regions of the brain that are devoted to specific functions, because it always relies on more than one region. So we're going to mainly focus on the cerebrum and its interactions among its particular nuclei. So how do we track electrical signals? Well, it's via this little skull cap that they can put on you with electrodes that are found all over the skull cap, and they can monitor movements of action potentials within your brain. It's called the EEG, or electroencephalogram. And so we can track these brain waves, so to speak. And as it turns out, there are four major congregations of these action potential waves in the cerebral cortex. Notice the word synchronized here. And that's what begins to happen, is that the action potentials in the brain start to become synchronized. So they can be distinguished based on their amplitude, how strong they are, and how frequently they occur. Once again, just to remind you, it's no longer heart death or the cessation of the heartbeat that classifies or is the criterion for death. It is brain death, and it's the absence of these brain waves specifically that is a legal criterion for brain death. All right, so the EEG, first segment we'll look at it is called the alpha waves. The alpha waves are 8 to 13 hertz, fairly slow rhythmic pattern. Certainly much slower than your radio waves that occur, which are in the megahertz, gigahertz range. But in this range of frequencies, we are awake, we're resting, and it's typically suppressed. So alpha waves do not occur when you have your eyes open and you're doing something that requires some degree of thinking. That's the domain of beta waves. Beta waves are a little higher in frequency. When the eyes are open, you're performing mental tasks, you are actively engaged, as I hope you are right now. Theta waves then are after alpha waves. So beta waves, most active thinking. Alpha waves, we're awake, our eyes are closed though, and we're sort of heading towards a resting state. Theta waves, we're getting darn near that resting state. We're drowsy or almost sleeping. However, they can also be evident if you're under intense emotional stress as well. And then finally, we have the delta waves, which are very low frequency, but of high amplitude, and these are the ones associated with deep sleep. So let's look at each of these four. You can see how they're arranged, and you're hopefully surprised as I am that this exists in the brain, that there is this rhythmic synchronicity of action potentials in the brain following these particular patterns. All right, so there's the EEG. You can either do individual leads like that, or sometimes they'll have something that looks like a skull cap. All right, so sleep. Right, so sleep occurs in circadian rhythms. Circadian, circa, about, dian, day. So these are rhythms that occur on a daily basis. This is a temporary state from which you can arise from when you are stimulated. Different than a coma, right? When you go to sleep, your muscles will become paralyzed, and so you will inhibit, in certain stages of sleep, you will inhibit muscular activity. It looks like you're unconscious or in a coma, but you're not, because you can be aroused. So there are 4 stages. Stage 1, you're feeling tired, you're beginning to relax, the alpha waves dominate, so you're not asleep, but you're darn close to it, and you can easily be roused up. Stage 2 then, the EEG will start to decrease in frequency as you pass into a lighter sleep. So alpha waves are slowly going to begin transitioning into theta waves. So theta waves will start to dominate at the in stage 2, and then as we move into stage 3, we're starting to get close to very deep sleep. The muscles are relaxing, vital signs are dropping, temperatures dropping, and delta waves begin appearing late in stage 3 and dominate in stage 4. These are low frequency, high amplitude waves. Everything is completely relaxed now. You are at your lowest temperatures of the evening when you're in stage 4, and you are very difficult to arouse. Now, about 4 or 5 times a night, or about on average about every 90 minutes, you will engage in a part of this sleep pattern termed rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. And you will actually backtrack from stage 4 back to stage 2. Yet you are in a deep sleep at this point. And sometimes REM sleep, which has to correspond to the rapid, you'll see the eye switching back and forth very rapidly. You also know that REM sleep is known as paradoxical sleep because you are in a very deep sleep, but you are back to stage 2 in terms of electrical patterns and appear to almost be ready to awaken. So that's why REM sleep is called paradoxical sleep, but you still are more hard to arouse than at any other stage. And the vital signs will increase. This is your body's chance to play, your brain's chance to play, and kind of just let itself take over with no constraints. There are a lot of theories out there or hypotheses out there as to why the dreaming occurs, but at least for the most part, it appears to be some notion on the brain that it can engage in activities where it is not hampered. In this stage also, you'll engage in sleep paralysis, so you cannot move your muscles while you are in REM sleep. Now, dreams occur in both REM and non-REM sleep, but dreams are much more vivid and lively and easy to remember when they occur in REM sleep. They also tend to be a bit longer. The parasympathetic system is very active, and so you'll have constriction of the pupils, you'll have erection of the penis and clitoris during REM sleep. So here we see the stages of sleep mapped out. Stage 1, stage 2, right? We go down, we're in our deepest sleep in stage 4, and then paradoxically, even though this will be deeper and our muscles are paralyzed, we see rhythms that are similar to those in the stage 2, stage 1 bridge right here. Now, in terms of REM sleep and its rapidity or its oscillatory manner during the night, we see after about an hour and a half, our first REM cycle, then our second one after about 3, after about 4.5, and you'll notice that REM increases its demands on sleep time each cycle of occurrence. Also, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but your dreams will become more real as you get towards the waking hour. So here they're very fantastical in the very first couple of REMs, and then you'll start to engage with people that you know and situations that you have. And that's one of the leading theories about sleep as well, is that it's the brain's attempt to prepare you for the next day's activities. So this is REM sleep, and sleep in its most elegant form.